Hello, welcome to Wednesday's Not Today with me, Al Booth. Thank you for being here. This is what's happening on the show today. Stags manager Nigel Clough will lead by example and get his blood pressure checked as he encourages anxious fans to do the same.
Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of incidents in the crowd with a lot of van injuries and everything in emergencies. So, getting your blood pressure, checked helps those. It's even more worth it.
More on that shortly, and we'll meet the NTU academic who's encouraging you to help in tracking wild hedgehogs by installing cameras in your garden. Researchers want people with sensor-activated cameras to support the project. It's aimed at revealing new information on the locations and the abundance of the prickly animals. And staying with the outdoors, we're going to hear how a funding boost could further grow an allotment project in West Bridgford that's aimed at supporting homeless people.
If you talk to anybody who comes down, the effect on people's mental health is just really, really positive. From down you hear a lot of laughter, you hear a lot of joking around, and everyone feels quite comfortable around each other, so it's a really nice space.
And in sport, we've got a very special guest on the sofa. Panthers assistant head coach Linton Grant will be here. He's just signed a multi-year contract extension with the club as well, and he joins us ahead of a huge playoff finals weekend, which could see the side lift some major silverware. We'll also hear how Forest women are feeling about being just 2 games away from a potentially invincible league title win.
We need to get the 3 points on the board because we know Wolves are chasing us down. We've been ruthless and it's been clinical, and just the link-ups has been very well, and I think we know each other that well at this point of the season.
There you go, and we'll stay with football to start the show then, because nothing to do with what's happening on the pitch, but more what's happening off the pitch. Mansfield Town manager Nigel Clough has joined calls by the NHS for fans to get their blood pressure checked ahead of a few tense final few weeks of the season. Health leaders say moments like Mansfield's ongoing relegation battle or Forest's charge into Europe and the promotion chase for Notts as well could lead to heart issues for committed fans. So this week, the Mansfield manager led by example, and he joined fans by getting his blood pressure checked. Solange Millardo was there.
It's that time of year again, the tension, the heartbreak and the last-minute goals. Whether your team's fighting relegation, chasing promotion or floating in between. The NHS are reminding fans it's not just their teams on the line, but could be your health too. A year ago today, Mansfield Town were flying high, having secured promotion to League One, leaving fans ecstatic and their hearts racing. But for supporters, it's never just a game, but an emotional rollercoaster. Today, with only 5 games left of the season, Mansfield now face the looming threat of relegation. The frustration and tensions of every match can really take a toll, not only for your mood, but your health too. That's why Mansfield Town manager Nigel Clough is popping in for a free blood pressure check to remind fans in these stressful times to prioritise their health too.
Well, we're all getting stressed, especially this time of the season. As you get to the business end, the last few weeks, there's a lot at stake in all the games. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of incidents in the crowd with a lot of van injuries and everything in emergencies. So, getting your blood pressure, checked helps those. It's even more worth it.
Throughout Stress Awareness Month, the NHS are supplying anyone 40 and over with free blood pressure checks at their local pharmacies. Orchard pharmacist Imran Mohammed talks about the importance of monitoring your health.
It's very important that patients do get the blood pressure checked regularly, especially during sporting events, because it induces stress and anxiety, and they're contributing factors to hypertension.
Stag supporter Shelley Mercer got involved and shared her thoughts on the initiative, as she herself is feeling more anxious as the season comes to a close. She also praises the Mansfield manager for encouraging fans to look after their health.
It's good for Nigel, good for the community. They can see that Nigel's having his blood pressure taken, so it might encourage a few more fans to follow on.
Managing this condition can prevent strokes and heart attacks. Pharmacist Imran says this highlights the importance of regular checkups.
There's so many patients over the age of 40 who actually suffer with blood pressure problems, but because they're asymptomatic and they have no symptoms, they're only identified as patients that could have been saved had their blood pressure been monitored.
Football can be a lifeblood for many communities, and for these fans, the end of the season is when pressure is high, in many ways than one. Solange Millardo for Notts TV.
Brilliant, thanks Solange. Right, from the green of a football pitch to the grass in your gardens, NTU researcher Paulina Pawlikowska is aiming to monitor native wild hedgehogs by harnessing the combined potential of personal trail cameras in people's gardens. Spot a Hog is open to anyone in the UK with an outdoor sensor activated camera, or as they're also known, camera traps. Gardens can be challenging areas to study, but they're also a very vital and important habitat for many urban adapted species. Paulina is here now to tell us all about it. Thanks for coming in. So, what is the state of hedgehogs at the moment? I mean, how, as a population, how are they?
So unfortunately, hedgehogs are declining. Their population has been undergoing a historic decline. So with research efforts, we're trying to identify the reasons for this decline and plan conservation measures to address the issue.
Okay, so tell us about the research then. What have you been doing?
Yes, so I'm undertaking a project called Spot a Hog, as you mentioned. It's a citizen science project where we're trying to test the potential of camera traps, so little devices that people currently have in their gardens, to monitor hedgehog populations, to kind of learn more about their numbers.
Okay, now you've brought one of these with you, haven't you? So are they expensive to fit? Because my son wants to get one, because we've got an allotment and a garden. My son's like, I want cameras everywhere. He's 7. He doesn't know it costs money, but are they expensive to set up?
So they can range, like they can vary in prices, but the good thing is that we accept all of them. So whatever camera you get, you can upload the footage to our project. And they're quite interesting devices. They've been developed. They developed from being very big units to this compact little tools that have been widely used in wildlife research. But now more and more people have them in their gardens. So we thought, why not make a use of this great data that's being collected every day and kind of apply similar protocols that we have in research and learn more about garden hedgehogs.
So this is underway, sorry, I should say. Have people been sending in footage already?
No, we're starting the project in May. So
okay.
We ask all of the volunteers to install the cameras following our protocol to make it as rigorous as possible so the data can be compared between different cameras. Once the cameras is installed, we ask people to calibrate it. All of the information is provided on our website. We have video tutorials on how to do it. Then we ask to leave the camera undisturbed for 30 days, send all of the footage to a platform called MauWeb, and this will give us access to the data, and we will be able to analyze it and hopefully learn more about hedgehog population.
Okay, so what are you actually looking to find at them? What are you looking for?
So this is a pilot project. So at this stage, we're trying to test the approach in itself. So how many people we can get on board if the protocol can be followed, if there's something missing in our instructions that we can improve in future. But following successful data collection, we will try to estimate garden hedgehog abundance using different analytical approaches. So the more people we can get on board, the bigger chance for getting this estimate, for getting more precise and more accurate measures of hedgehog numbers.
Okay, so in our gardens then, what can we do to make them hedgehog friendly? Because our garden, for example, is a new build, and there's lots of those around with the fences all just kind of down. So it's hard for hedgehogs to get into a garden from that point of view.
Exactly, yeah. The fragmentation of habitat is a big challenge for hedgehogs, but there's this great initiative of setting up hedgehog highways, so little holes in fences that can promote this connectivity between different gardens, different habitats. So this is a great moment point to start with. Another thing would be anything that promotes biodiversity, so having unmanaged parts of garden that can promote invertebrate abundance, which is the main hedgehog food basically. Avoiding the use of pesticides as well, right, to give good food for hedgehogs, basically.
Keep it safe.
Keeping areas for nesting. So a bit of brambles, a bit of bushes. Basically, leaving it unmanaged is what hedgehogs find the most useful for them.
Okay, and don't give them milk and bread, because that's what I was told when I was a kid.
Definitely.
But a lot's changed since then.
Definitely.
Thankfully. How can people get involved? How can people find out more?
I would recommend anyone to check our website. There we describe each of the steps of the project. So as I said, this will be installing the camera. You don't have to sign up in advance. Just follow our protocol, please. Okay. Calibrate the camera, leave it undisturbed, and upload all of the footage. And this way, we ensure that your data will be involved in our project.
Brilliant. Just give us the website address.
It's hedgehography.com.
Fantastic, Paulina. Thank you. That's
Thank
brilliant.
you.
Right, in other Notts news now, and some residents who were evacuated from their homes after a fatal house explosion in Worksop might not be able to return for a fortnight. A major incident is still ongoing in John Street after a home exploded on Saturday evening. It destroyed a home and partially collapsed 2 others. It also led to the death of 53-year-old David Howard and the murder arrest of a 43-year-old man. A cordon is in place covering 14 homes. Bassett Law District Council said it could remain in place for up to 2 weeks while investigations continue. And police have confirmed Trent Bridge was temporarily closed in both directions on Tuesday evening while officers dealt with concerns for a person's safety. Drivers were urged to find alternative routes while the incident was managed at roughly 9:30 last night. They said the police cordon posed no threat to the wider community and the incident was safely resolved after 11 p.m, with the bridge initially reopening to pedestrians before then being fully reopened to drivers as well. Right, coming up, I am going to be chatting with Nottingham Panthers assistant coach Linton Granton. He's just signed a new contract extension and he's got a pretty busy weekend coming up as well. Talk to him next. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's show. I'm Al, thank you for being here. This is what's happening in Notts today. And first, Nottingham's transport network has been given a £16 million funding boost as the new financial year gets underway. The cash is being provided by the Regional East Midlands Combined Authority and it's expected to double the budget available for road maintenance and pothole repairs, as well as upgrading car park signage and funding a feasibility study into redesigning the junction where Maid Marian Way meets Canal Street and Collins Street. It's also expected to be more cash for active travel like cycle lanes and extra money to decarbonise buses as well. In fact, staying with the city, the paddling pool at Victoria Embankment has been filled and tested ahead of its planned opening later this year. The City Council confirmed on Tuesday the jets were on. The pool has temporarily been filled as well as part of the ongoing refurbishment. It all started last year and includes a new underground storage tank, a new drainage system, new painting and designs and an eventual full repainting. The pool is scheduled to reopen in late spring, having closed following funding problems several years ago, I should say. Seems it's been out of action for ages, isn't it? Right, moving on now, we're going from the pool to the ice and we're chatting with our next great guest, and this timing could not be better for a catch-up with Nottingham Panthers assistant coach Linton Grant. This week, he's committed his future to the club and the project being led by Danny Stewart, and that comes just in time for the massive playoff finals at the weekend. Panthers take on arch rivals Sheffield Steelers on Saturday, hoping to book their place in the final against Belfast or Cardiff and pick up some silverware. Linton is here now to look ahead and talk about his contract extension, which we shall congratulate you on first. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
How are things then? How are things at the moment?
They're good. Obviously, I think anytime you can get into a playoff finals weekend, I think the vibes are always going to be good, right? So for me personally, it's been a good year, and I think that's kind of big thing that led to me wanting to stick around, and thankfully Omar and Danny wanted to keep me around, so that's huge.
So when you're talking about contract extension then, what are you looking at? You're looking at your own safety and security, and that's great, but you know, in terms of the project we just mentioned then that Danny's got going underway, is how far into the future are you looking?
Yeah, I think obviously for me and Danny, the big thing is we're taking it one step at a time. So this year our kind of mission is let's put Nottingham back on the map. I think that we were all a new group of guys. It was 2 new coaches to the team. Obviously, Danny's been around the league for a while. we had a lot of first-year guys in England and in the elite league, so and first year with the club. So it was one of those ones where we just wanted to put the club back on the map, and hopefully next year we can take that next step of starting to win some silverware. But yeah, I think it is one of those projects where I think you just got to take them one small step at a time. And as I said, we're just we've done part of our mission this year. Hopefully we can finish off the job this weekend and get something out of this playoff weekend. But obviously, I think when we look back at the season, it's been a bit of a success for us to get the team back to being on that kind of national stage, I think, where it had been in previous years.
Yeah, and it's great to have stability as well, as as Panthers fans, because we've seen so many changes in recent years and whatever. So to know there's a team that is going forward with it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that been echoed to me and Danny. I think the fan base had maybe been getting a little frustrated in that, and it's been so nice to hear them saying it's been nice to see that Nottingham is back on that map and seeing me and Danny return. So I'm always appreciative of it.
So what do you make of the season there? I think, like you say, if you're going into the playoffs, it is success, but what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones where if you would have asked us, or especially if you would have asked me coming into the year that you would have been 2 goals away from a Challenge Cup final, bringing the league title right the way down to the last weekend pretty much, I probably would have said that's a hell of a good season, to be honest with you. So obviously it's a little disappointing. You would have liked to have won something in there, but I think putting things into perspective, it's been a huge season for us, and for myself and my own personal growth, I've took a lot of steps, I felt, and that's been under the guidance of Rick Strachan, our senior advisor, Danny, Omar, even the players. They've helped develop what I've kind of been going through this year and learning those things. So as I said, for me on a personal scale, it's been quite a successful season.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's a strange one, because if you have that disappointment, obviously, but then you think of how far you've come, and to be disappointed that you didn't get it at the last weekend is a good position to be in.
Yeah, and I think obviously, as I said, I think every team wants to win that silverware, and obviously disappointed, but hey, the good thing about this league is that you got a chance for 3 different trophies to win in a season. So as I said, there's still one up for grabs.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk about that then. So how are preparations going for the weekend?
They're good. We kind of had our awards night last night, so kind of starting to put a bit of a bow on that kind of things, and now it's all steam ahead towards this weekend. Got 3 good days of practice ahead of us today and for the rest of the week. And I think, one of the things that Danny's took pride in this year, and I've tried to help him as best as I can, is he's getting the team into that right headspace of what this finals weekend means. And as I said, Danny has great experience with the league, so he's conveying that message to the guys that maybe haven't really experienced that in the past, is how much this weekend actually means, right? It's huge for not just the team, but for the city. And I think this year, from what I've gathered, is that it's big for the league as well. It's a huge event that the league have going on, and I think it's starting to help the British ice hockey level kind of rise through the ranks in Europe, right? I think a lot of people kind of sleep on that England has ice hockey, and when I tell people, I'm coaching in Nottingham, they're like, well, where's that in England? And a lot of people are surprised to hear that England has ice hockey. So that's, as I said, it's huge, right? And as I said, that's what Danny's doing for us, and I think we're setting ourselves up to be in a decent spot and hopefully get something out of it.
Do you prepare? I know you just talked then about preparing mentally and putting that into. Do you prepare physically different? What are the preparations for a playoff weekend as opposed to a league match?
I think obviously there's a lot of teams that are kind of going through that physical side of things. It's a long season, right? It's 9 months of grueling hockey. So I think that there's that healthy balance, and we've got a really good physiotherapy staff in Owen Bramley and Laura Jo Bowler. Those 2 work endlessly and put in absolute hours trying to get these guys in absolute peak physical health. So me and Danny are super appreciative of what they're doing, and if they ever say, this guy needs a day off, or this guy can probably be pushed a little bit harder, then we take their word as pretty golden in our room. They're probably 2 of the better physiotherapists that I've worked with in my career. So as I said, it's huge, right? You don't want to have a guy that's absolutely dead on his feet and you're pushing him even that harder, because then he's just got nothing to give you for the weekend. So it's that healthy balance, right, of mental and physical.
Brilliant. Well, we wish you all the best, and hopefully we can talk to you before the final.
Hopefully.
Thank you for coming in. Thanks, Linton. Right, let's have a look at more sport now. We'll stick with Panthers, but we'll shift to the captain, Sam Herr. He's preparing to hang up his skates this weekend and retire from professional ice hockey altogether. The forward announced the news last week and played his official last home match in front of the Motorpoint crowd in the 6-3 victory over Guildford on Sunday. He's spoken about the emotions of that day and what it would mean to lead the club out in the playoffs for his final ever game.
Yeah, it was special. It really was. Honestly, I did get a little bit emotional when Spence scored that empty netter. I wasn't ready for my career to be over with. I want one more weekend. I want to experience that playoff weekend we get to. But yeah, everybody comes to play for the Nottingham Panthers because they know what kind of atmosphere the fans can bring in this building. That was the goal from this.
You can see all the action from the 6-3 victory over Guildford right here from 9 p.m. tonight. We won't have the playoff coverage, but don't worry, we'll report on it. So, right, football now. Earlier on, we heard from Mansfield manager Nigel Clough. He's encouraging more fans to get their blood pressure checked heading into the final weeks of the season. On the pitch, the focus is turning to Rotherham on Friday. They're trying to fight off a potential unlikely relegation battle. They find themselves 5 points clear of the drop with 5 games left, but Nigel Clough reckons that just one win should do it.
I think it'd be a different prospect than it would have been a few weeks ago. Obviously, Matty Hamshaw's come in, they've won 3 out of 4. You talk about rejuvenated, a slightly rejuvenated Rotherham will be playing. The squad that they have is one of the as good as there is in the league, and we're not too far behind them in the league, which shows, I think, how well we've done this season as well.
And Forest have confirmed they've sold out their initial allocation for the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. They received an initial allocation of 34,000 tickets for the clash with Man City later this month. There have been staggering release based on people's attendance at vital games in the Cup run, as well as season card and membership levels. The allocation was sold out on Tuesday. Forest said it'll let fans know if there are any more mini releases of tickets. Forest women forward Charlie Wellings bagged 2 goals for the Reds in their recent 7-0 thrashing Liverpool Feds. And she says the girls are entirely focused on the task in hand because they're heading into their 2 final matches of the league season, where Carly Davis' side, who are unbeaten all season in the league, know that a win and a draw from those 2 games will guarantee the league title. Speaking after the victory, informed Charlie said there's a lot of excitement in the camp going into the weekend's match with Stourbridge.
It's massive. I think confidence today going into the game was through the roof as well, so definitely a very good result for us, and it was just massive that we got the 3 points today going into the last 2 games. Obviously it's a good amount of goals for the year, but honestly we just came here thinking we need to get the 3 points on the books. We know Wolves are chasing us down as well, so just anything to help the team at this point and get over the line. I think it's just clicked today, especially just in the week as well. Yeah, we've been ruthless and it's been clinical, and just the link-ups has been very well. And I think we know each other that well at this point of the season, and yeah, everything just came together today.
Right, picture of the day time now. This one is from Steve Plavinsky on Instagram. 2 happy magpies, there you go. What more can we ask for? Your weather now, it's been grey today, hasn't it? Only 10 degrees. Slightly better tomorrow though, we're reaching highs of 15 and some sunshine. And then looking at Friday, highs of 16 degrees as well. The good news is the pollen levels have calmed down a little bit. If you've got hay fever, that's good to know, isn't it? Right, still to come. We're going to meet the composer whose recent performance at the new Sherwood Observatory Planetarium combined music with projections of space and the universe. And also, if you fancy going out, as long as you've got a coat because it's a bit chilly, we'll tell you what's going on with the What's On Guide. That's next for you. I'm aware of that. We've got a very special guest coming up for you, and as you may have heard, I'm going to chat to him shortly. But for now, this is Notts Today, and I'm Al. There's a tease, that's what we call it. Right, so you see what else is going on in Notts Today, and public health projects like lung checks and smoking prevention have been handed a multi-million-pound funding boost in Nottingham. City Council has been told it's getting £2.4 million more for the current financial year to pay for various schemes to improve the health of the wider population. This means just short of £40 million can be spent on things like smoking cessation and lung checks, with the aim of these sorts of projects that address a higher than average smoking rate and lower than average healthy life expectancy in the city. And work on a new community room, kitchen, public toilets and storage facility in Edwalton is expected to get started soon. The public hall at Sharp Hill is expected to support the new communities being built around the village. It comes after planning permission was granted in October last year. Rushcliffe Borough Council says the facility will be environmentally friendly. It will include things like solar panels and an air source heat pump. There'll be 27 parking bays and at least 9 construction jobs to be created ahead of the opening before June. Right, before we meet the Banksy of the piano world, we're going to tell you what you can get up to tonight in your Wednesday Guide. And the rich smell of entertainment is in the air because Sean Paul is at the Motor Point tonight from 6 p.m. There's still a couple of tickets for that one, believe it or not. So you have to be pretty quick if you want to get them. It's on now. I think doors open about 6:30. Yeah, that's it. Right, if you fancy something else, this Wednesday evening, Cork-based band Cliffords are at the Bodega as well. They've been labelled the New Cranberries. Make sure you check them out as well. Tickets only cost you £10 for that one. And Juliet is also here until the weekend. We had Lara Denning, who plays Anne on the production, here last week. She was amazing. If you missed that, you can catch it up at notstv.com or the official YouTube channel. Tickets still available for that. It's here until Saturday. Whatever you get up to, have a good one. Right, then maybe stick around for our next guest then. As I've teased, he is the Banksy of piano world. Chris Miguels has been dubbed the Banksy of the piano world and has just made an exciting appearance at a venue you might not expect to catch, a classical music performance. In a sold-out event on Monday, Chris performed at Sherwood Observatory Planetarium with visuals of the universe playing over his music. He's here now to tell us all about it. We've got Sean Paul at Motor Point. We have you at a planetarium as well. So how was it? How was Monday's gig? Tell us about that.
It was extraordinary. If you can picture this, you've got a historic traditional grand piano, candlelit, and then it's floating amongst the stars and the universe, which are being projected on a 360-degree dome. So it was really an immersive experience.
Oh, we can see it on screen now, actually. Like you say, it is completely breathtaking, isn't it? I mean, what's that like? Obviously, as an audience member, it's incredible. What's it like to actually play there? Do you get to, while you're focusing on your music, do you get to take in everything that's happening?
Yeah, I mean, pardon the pun, there's a hell of an atmosphere in that room. So it's very tangible. You can feel it. The piano very much is amongst the stars. And while I do have to concentrate very much on what I'm playing, if I can get a glance up there, you know, there's the sun, the moon, the stars, or a galaxy or a nebula flying past, and it was just wicked. So it gets me excited as a player, and it gives me that extra notch on the performance.
Now, this was the I didn't realise third consecutive Monday that you've played. So I know you were playing 3 gigs, but third in a row.
Yeah.
What's the thinking behind putting them on, playing there?
Well, it went absolutely mental. As I'm kind of getting known at the moment as the Banksy of the piano world, I try and choose places that offer people an experience, and that's the title of my show, The Piano Experience. And so I try and create that in really unique environments. We had the Clipston Headstocks, that was a 3-night sellout as well. Recently, the State Chamber of South Westminster, very traditional place, and that also sold out. And then this, we put the first night out and there was a wave of demand for it. And I'm kind of like the venue's favourite worst nightmare, because I say, you know, we organised this concert and it happens, and it blew me away, to be honest. The tickets went within hours, so I was back on the phone to the venue. I had a wave of people just battering into me for an extra night, and I said, okay, can we make it happen? And we said yes, put another night on, and then it extended to 3, and we're planning some more as well.
So what's your involvement with the creativity? Obviously, from a musical point of view and writing and playing, we know that, but in terms of the whole outfit, are you the one who goes, guys, I've got an idea? You know, where does it all come from?
Pretty much, yeah. I get inspired by what we have in Nottinghamshire. The Clipston Headstocks, that's the last standing icon of industrial Britain. The State Chamber at South Westminster, that's one of the finest cathedrals in England. And then the the planetarium being a £6.8 million new development right here in Nottinghamshire, you can't miss these things. So to be able to bring people together around the music in these places is really something that I aspire to do every time.
How far ahead do you plan? Do you know what's coming up for the rest of the year? Have you got?
So I've got some exciting things happening now. I've recently taken on some management, and we're sort of planning to take the music worldwide now, which is exciting. And I'm quite excited to represent the UK as a composer and to bring that music further afield. Home is where the heart is, and I'm proud to be from Nottingham, so I always try and look locally to find opportunities for our community here as well.
And so you're the Banksy of the piano world then. How did that tag come about?
It's what they call me, and I suppose if you turn up in an abandoned coal mine or an observatory, they're really unexpected places, and it's not just a piano concert, it's the piano experience. So a wide variety of people come along and they get something different, and I tell a bit of a story about the compositions, and it's new music as well. So I've written them about my personal life and experiences, things like that. And so people, it's not just a quiet affair where people sit silently and don't know when to applaud. It's very much like a gathering of people that really want something new and different.
Fantastic. Where can we go online? It's not the same as being there, I appreciate that.
No.
But if people are watching this and becoming a little bit more curious, how can people find you?
Dead easy, chrismcgills.com or Chris McGills on all social media. You can follow what's happening, and I'll be dropping some hints and teasers about where we're going next.
Fantastic.
People told me sky's the limits, but like it's the universe now.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. You've gone beyond that, isn't it? And that's ever expanding. So, thanks so much. It's really good to talk to you again. Thanks, Chris. Right, let's have another look at your top story, which combines football and health, because Mansfield Town manager Nigel Clough has joined calls from the NHS for fans to get their blood pressure checked ahead of a tense final few weeks of the season for everyone, really. Health leaders say moments like Mansfield's ongoing relegation battle, or Forest's charge into Europe, Forest women going for that Invincibles, or not doing whatever they're doing to get promoted, can lead to heart issues for committed fans. So this week, the Mansfield manager led by example and joined fans by getting his blood pressure checked. Solange Melado was there.
It's that time of year again, the tension, the heartbreak and the last-minute goals. Whether your team's fighting relegation, chasing promotion or floating in between. The NHS are reminding fans it's not just their teams on the line, but could be your health too. A year ago today, Mansfield Town were flying high, having secured promotion to League One, leaving fans ecstatic and their hearts racing. But for supporters, it's never just a game, but an emotional rollercoaster. Today, with only 5 games left of the season, Mansfield now face the looming threat of relegation. The frustration and tensions of every match can really take a toll, not only for your mood, but your health too. That's why Mansfield Town manager Nigel Clough is popping in for a free blood pressure check to remind fans in these stressful times to prioritise their health too.
Well, we're all getting stressed, especially this time of the season. As you get to the business end, the last few weeks, there's a lot at stake in all the games. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of incidents in the crowd with a lot of fan injuries and everything and emergencies. So, if getting your blood pressure, checked helps those. It's even more worth it.
Throughout Stress Awareness Month, the NHS are supplying anyone 40 and over with free blood pressure checks at their local pharmacies. Orchard pharmacist Imran Mohammed talks about the importance of monitoring your health.
It's very important that patients do get the blood pressure checked regularly, especially during sporting events, because it induces stress and anxiety, and they're contributing factors to hypertension.
Stag supporter Shelley Mercer got involved and shared her thoughts on the initiative, as she herself is feeling more anxious as the season comes to a close. She also praises the Mansfield manager for encouraging fans to look after their health.
It's good for Nigel, good for the community. They can see that Nigel's having his blood pressure taken, so it might encourage a few more fans to follow on.
Managing this condition can prevent strokes and heart attacks. Pharmacist Imran says this highlights the importance of regular checkups.
There's so many patients over the age of 40 who actually suffer with blood pressure problems, but because they're asymptomatic and they have no symptoms, they're only identified as patients that could have been saved had their blood pressure been monitored.
Football can be a lifeblood for many communities, and for these fans, the end of the season is when pressure is high, in many ways than one. Solange Malado for Knots TV.
Thanks, Solange. Right, in other Knots news, police are investigating after a woman's bank card was stolen and used at various locations in Nottingham. The victim was enjoying drinks with friends at a city centre bar and later noticed her bag, which contained her iPhone, her bank card and her driving licence, had been stolen. The card was used several times across various locations in the city, including convenience stores, after the theft on February the 1st. Now police have released the CCTV image you can see on your screen. Said if you can help, then give them a call on 101. And police seized a baton-style weapon following a fight in a tram stop in Notts. It happened at Ashgate Road in Hucknall at 4:15 on Monday afternoon. Officers were called to reports of a group fight in the car park. 2 youths reportedly entered a nearby supermarket with injuries, and then a tram was held at the stop and officers arrested 2 boys aged 15 and 16. They also recovered a baton-style weapon and have launched an appeal for more information. Again, if you witnessed the fight, you can give them a call on 101. Right, when we get back, we are going to hear how a funding boost could help a vital homeless allotment project to grow more than just plants. And we'll meet a creative who's made a music video depicting life in Notts. Hello, welcome back to Wednesday's show with me, Al Booth. Thank you for joining me today. This is what's happening in Notts, and train operator East Midlands Railway has hit a milestone in its refurbishment programme after unveiling a revamped train. The refurbished Class 170 carriage is the first train in a £23 million programme, which modernises the full fleet of 170s. They're trains used on the Robin Hood line between Nottingham, Worksop and Mansfield, and between the city and Skegness, Liverpool and Newark Castle. The refurbished carriage includes modern charging facilities, upgraded flooring, better toilets and new passenger information systems. And councillors could approve plans for more student accommodation behind Nottingham's Victoria Centre. Plans are due before the City Council's Planning Committee next Wednesday to turn an old warehouse on Rick Street into a student housing complex which will reach up to 10 storeys in height. The proposed 247-bed student block is expected to mirror similar projects either complete or under construction in the area. It also backs onto Glasshouse Street, where several large projects have been approved in recent years. Now, a local homelessness charity allotment has received more than £160,000 of grant funding to help those in need grow from their own food to skills such as crafts and cooking. The Friary supports more than 50 service users, but says the lottery grant will be used to expand its service, which those who attend say it's greatly improving their mental health and social development as well. Henry Doby has more.
At an allotment in West Bridgford, something is growing, and it's not just vegetables. Skills and friendships alike are flourishing at the Friary allotment, where volunteers are helping to make a difference. These free weekly sessions are offered by the Friary to their homeless service users, teaching the essential skills from gardening to cooking, as well as offering community events. And now, thanks to a £165,000 grant from the National Lottery, these sessions can continue to flourish. For allotment manager Jen Blake, she says the funding will help the project to sprout a bigger outreach to help more people than ever.
Oh, it definitely helps with people's mental health. Everyone finds a friend as soon as they come down here. It's really helpful for their social lives. We've had service users who have been coming since the beginning, and it's like a family here now because they all get on so well. So the funding from the National Lottery is going to keep us going for another 3 years. It means that we can expand the project. It also gives us the security to know that we can keep it going. So that over the next year or so, we want to start introducing day trips and getting a lot more people down here.
Volunteer Ollie Jones says the funds can also be used to help the essential support of their volunteers.
I think you see people grow in a lot of confidence. I think people come down and at first they don't know many people here, and immediately, because it's such a sort of social setting, it's really nice to see friendships forming, people really taking a lot of ownership over things that are going on down here. So people come down and they're not too comfortable cooking, for example, and then over the course of a few weeks they start to really take the lead in the cooking sessions and really start to enjoy and grow in that. So yeah, I think you see a lot of benefits. If you talk to anybody who comes down, the effect on people's mental health is just really, really positive. And yeah, you come down, you hear a lot of laughter, you hear a lot of joking around, and everyone feels quite comfortable around each other, so it's a really nice space to be in.
And as for its service users, it allows them to grow in more ways than just their plants.
I've been a strong supporter of it. Very good cause, good for the mental health. It's brilliant. Well, you know, a very good charity.
The funding will feed the project for the next 3 years, where the charity hopes to keep helping those in need to grow together. Henry Doby for Notts TV.
Right, it is time for our final guest of the show now. Two Radcliffe-on-Trent based creatives have produced a music video which shows what it's like to live in Radcliffe-on-Trent. Cy Taylor is a singer-songwriter, and videographer Andrew Johnson runs Drone and Away, and they got together to produce a tribute to the place they live and where they grew up as well. Cy's here to tell us all about the video and the song, which you can catch a sneak peek of now.
Public is the house, keeping us together. Squirrels red and grey.
Well, Cy's here now. Congratulations on the video and the song are both beautiful.
Thank you. You're not just saying that.
No, I'm not. No. It reminds
Jack was very
me,
complimentary as well, so thank you.
do you know, the song reminds me of Heartbeats. I've been trying to remember who it's Gonzalez or something.
Oh, yeah, great. Well, it'll be different things to different people, I guess, but thank you.
Yeah. I was going to say, what was the inspiration? That's usually a question, but I think the answer's in the video, isn't
absolutely. It sort of does what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what? Because we've all got places we grew up and we've all got places we love. Not all of us can sit down and write a poem or a song about it. So, I
didn't know if I could. Actually.
Yeah, at what point did you want to do that?
Yeah, it was never a plan. I met somebody at a party and he asked me what I did, and I said one of the things I do is I write songs and sing them and perform them and whatever. And he was very interested. He said, "Can you write about anything?" I said, "Well, yeah, how do you decide what to write about?" And I said, well, you know, inspiration can come from anywhere. And then we got talking about the fact that I was born and bred in Radcliffe-on-Trent. We were talking about a red and grey squirrel thing, which is a little bit of a local folklore. No, lots of places have it. And he said, well, could you write about the village? I said, well, I suppose I could. So he didn't really challenge me. It just went in and I forgot all about it. And then a few days later, I like to give myself little writing challenges. So I just sat down and put the song together, and then realised that it really didn't mean anything to anybody outside of the area or who had known the area previously and perhaps moved away. And my friend and collaborator Andrew, who can't be here today on his holidays, hi Andrew, he'd already done some drone footage of the church and a few other places in the village and put some nice videos together on his Drone and Away site. So I contacted him and said, look, I think this song you can't really put it out as a song, which is why we've done closed captions on the YouTube thing. So I said, have you got any ideas? And he said, yeah, well, let's get together. So the two go hand in hand. And as you say, the music fits the video fits the music. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. So I wrote it, recorded it. Andrew put the video together along with some existing footage, and we went out and grabbed the stuff we needed, because there was a few shots we didn't have. Decided to do it drone so that we could capture as much of the area as possible. Yeah. And that was about a year ago, and then it all came together earlier this year, and there it is.
Yeah.
And good fun, really good fun to do. And great for us, because Andrew's born and bred as well as myself.
Right, okay.
So there's a little bit of a love letter in there, but at the same time, I think it was just quite nice. It's a great place to live, it's very pretty and it's great, and all the people are great, the community's great. So it's kind of a love letter to the people and the place, really, from both of us.
And I saw on your YouTube channel as well, one of the comments was someone who's an expat living in Canada and grew up there. And it was like, so for all you said, you can't, it doesn't really mean anything to anyone. That is not the case at all.
There are loads of people who've moved away, some who went to school literally and then moved, others who moved away more recently. There are lots of people who've been sending great messages. It's had some really good traction already on YouTube. But I think for expats, probably more than anything, lots of people saying, I can't believe how much the area's changed, perhaps who haven't been there for 10, 15 years. And it has, because it's a growing population, like lots of suburbs, there's lots of houses being built. So are we a town or a village has probably been one of the biggest points of conjecture, really. And nobody can answer the question technically, because 8,500 was the population. It's now going to go to, I don't know, probably 10 with the three big developments in the area. So are we a town or a village? Well, to be honest with you, the word town is much easier as a songwriter to deal with
yes, that's true.
than the word village. So we're going with town for
Go
now.
with that,
Well,
yeah.
Al, I don't care. If it works in songwriting terms, excuse me, if it works in songwriting terms, I don't care. It's a town.
Do you know, it's just great to hear as well, because I don't know why in the UK we don't really have songs about places. I know the Beatles had Strawberry Fields and Penny Lane or whatever, but in America there's towns about New York and Chicago and whatever, you know, Tennessee and all this. We don't have that in the UK.
That is true.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of the probably. I wasn't expecting to mention that, but actually it's a very good point. There's lots of songs about Dublin, quite a lot of songs about London, obviously, because they're big personality places. But I suppose you don't. I think a lot of Irish tunes about villages and cities, but it's not very in English. I think people think it might be a bit folky. And that makes people think, okay, that's just a bit of a folky route. But it's not really a folk song; it's a pop song, really. Yeah. But you're right. It was. I was worried about it might be a bit cheesy. I've not had any cheesy feedback, but at the time when I sat down, I thought if I do this, I'm going to get a bit of flack for sort of making it a little bit cheesy. That's the only word I can think of. So hopefully, I think the video helps because it's really stylised and he's edited it really well. So I'm hoping that kind of takes the cheesy edge off it, and it's just a bit of fun, but something for people to enjoy.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, what else is on Notts TV? Well, in case you missed it, the latest episode of The Debate is on. You can see it on the website nottstv.com or on YouTube. Francis Finn was joined by a panel of great local guests to talk about regional, national, international headlines. This including Donald Trump's tariffs, obviously, plans for local government reform in Notts, and what should be done with the old Broadmarsh site in Nottingham. Here's some of that discussion.
We do need more shops, but more shops need shoppers, and the reduction in high street shopping is an issue. Do we need more student housing? Absolutely not.
We don't know exactly what the housing is yet, I think.
I think what we need to be looking at are the management team who are overlooking this, because it just seems to be an ongoing saga. We've spoken about this on previous debates and nothing ever seems to move forward.
Well, this is government homes. Let's hope this is definitely going to happen. The sort of homes as well is another interesting question to ask here. But do we need shops? Do we need shops?
Just on the back of the interview with Si, if you want to see Red Clay Town, the video, it's Si Taylor Music on YouTube. There you go. Right, picture of the day now. Steve Florinsky sent this on Instagram. 2 happy magpies. Let's have a look at your weather. A grey one today. Tomorrow is going to be a bit sunny, highs of 15. And then 6 degrees into Friday when we are reaching a cloudy but slightly warm high of 16 degrees again. The good news is that the pollen count is sort of reducing a little bit, so if you've got hay fever you should be okay. Right, thank you for being here. Just a reminder, you can see the debate there on the YouTube channel. You might as well go and check out Si's video and then watch that. It's at Notts Official, Notts TV Official on YouTube, and tonight we've got Team Talk on as well. I'm back some other time. Have a good Easter. I'll see you after then. Bye bye.